What's up, guys? We're working on this 2017 Ford. Go figure, Ford, right? So the issue that we were having is when you would drive and put anything under torque, you'd hear a loud like brrr noise. You know what I mean? Like it would like kind of like, I don't know, like a bad suspension or something like that. Anyways, we got under the car and I kind of put it in drive and reverse, and I also like took the wheels off the ground, and we did a couple like hard stops where we like kind of let the wheels go and then grab the brakes real quick to simulate like a real jerking motion. So we rolled out that the bottom engine mount was bad, and we went ahead and did that. That was kind of a job because there was a couple couple bolts in a couple tight spots, but we did get it done, and it is a lot better. But there's still like it has just a tiny bit of like, you can still feel it. It feels more of a rubber vibration. So basically underneath the car, there's like, you have there's like a metal piece that it connects to, and then the metal, like, it's like the transmission mount basically. And whenever it kind of like, you give it throttle, it kind of turns back. And then whenever it's like, it's hitting off that frame. So that's what was going on. That had a lot of give. Here's the old motor mount actually. And just by like, if you give it a little bit of like on the ground, I can't do it one-handed, but if you give it on the ground, it kind of torques back, and it's not supposed to do that. It's supposed to be real firm. So we got the other engine mount here. I loosened up a bolt, basically these 3 bolts, and then there's a bolt down here. There's an 18mm bolt right there, and then an 18mm bolt back there. It's pretty simple to do. I'm gonna try to cheat it and not get this piece off. The reservoir, I tried to get it off, it wouldn't come off. And then I'm also not gonna want to I'm not trying to take this off either. Just trying to cut some corners here. But you get all those bolts out there, support the engine, because you got to think of that sag. And it should come out, theoretically, I think, I hope. God forbid anything goes easy. And then this line just kind of move out the way. So should be able to get to it. We'll try to get this off. This thing just is supposed to come off, like you see the tab right there. I got that off the tab there, and then there's another tab back here. But it won't come off. I tried wiggling it, but it seems like it's moving back here, but it just doesn't want to come off. So could use a pry bar on it or something, but I'm not going to really take my chances. I'm just going to move these lines out the way while I just hit it with the buzz, and then when it comes out, just kind of wiggle this out of the way. So we'll see what goes on. So we got the jack under here. We got that supporting the oil pan. Make sure you grab a piece of wood. I grabbed a piece of wood and I put on there. And then I also took this little thing out here to gain some more clearance. This just comes right out of your jack, and then you got a nice flat surface. Jack up. Now we have our engine supported. So these bolts I tested, those are 18mm. You take out those 3 bolts there on the top of the engine mount. And then down there, those 2 bolts are actually 15s. So you're gonna need a 15mm deep well socket. Well, I guess down there you don't need a deep well socket. You just need a regular socket. But I like the extra room to bring it up. So 15 there, and then there's a 15 back there. You can see it right on the housing. And then these 3 top bolts are all 18s. So as soon as I zip these 18s off here and zip these 2 15s off of here, this should come off. Now, the reason that I want to replace this, not only did we replace the bottom one, which was indeed bad, if you go ahead and look at this like gasket here, or the rubber piece, you can see how it's like starting to crack. It means it's weathered away, and it just means it's kind of going bad. So you want to go ahead and replace those. They're not too expensive. You know, it's a lot better down the road if you replace them now than if you're out on the highway driving along and then your engine just breaks, or like one of these like snap, or like the rubber piece just gives out and then the whole engine just then you got a whole lot more problems rather than just spending, you know, 60 bucks on a set. I'm gonna go ahead and zip these out real quick and get that done. All right, well, I guess that's not enough. Grab the cheater bar. loosen those bigger ones up there. That's a good idea. I don't think I can get my impact in there, my Walmart impact nut. So we'll just have to use the socket wrench, which is fine, not a biggie. No biggie with a cheater pipe. And we'll get the middle one. All right, good. Now that that's all loosened up, it would come in handy if I had one of those like joints where I could like put the impact here, just, you know what I mean? It's just like that would make it 100% easier. I have one of them in my toolbox, but I don't have one with me today. So. Okay. Well, this should come out. Yep. Wiggle it out of there. All right, look at that. Oh, look at that. All right, so there's your engine mount. This is the top passenger side engine mount. As you can see, I'll set it right here. So this is the whole entire thing. Let's see if I can get it to focus here. You can see how it's kind of cracked around there. That's not good. You know what I mean? That's definitely time to pass. Somewhere on these two, on these engine mounts, there's a date. Yeah, you can see, you know what I mean, just the wear of it. There's like a date on them somewhere. There was a date on the other one too. But it tells you these are all original engine mounts from when this car was brand new back in 2017. So if you think about, you know, rubber pieces, you got to think like we're here in PA where, you know, we have cold weathers and then hot summers. So, you know, that cold, hot, and then with the engine, you know, warming up and driving everywhere, you have to think like, okay, you know, that rubber piece is eventually going to go bad and you got to replace it. So sometimes the interval, usually the interval is in your manual. You do want to follow that. Definitely keep up on that. So after I take a part out, I like to kind of just inspect some things. Make sure that you don't have any, like, especially like holes and stuff like down there where the threads go in. You can see there, those are prone points to rust, stuff like that goes on. Just kind of, just give it a little like visual inspection, make sure nothing's going on. You know, maybe see something that you normally wouldn't see. You know, check your belts out, check your, you know what I mean, check all this stuff. You can see that this belt is actually fraying on the side of this engine. That fraying, that's going to be, to me, you know what I mean, like to some people it's like, it's got like another 100,000 miles. To me, if I start seeing fraying or anything like that, you know, I don't want to be driving down the highway and it's just, you know, go kaplooey and now I don't have a car to drive and it's got to get towed. Like, I'm good. So, you know, one of these, I'm thinking probably that should be another routine maintenance in the future. Get that replaced. So, you know, just general stuff. But, all right, I got to go find the brand new one because I have no idea where it's at. So, bear with me here. Hold on. All right, so I found the brand new one. Took me a couple minutes. Yes, sir. All right, so you can check out these rubber pieces. You see how these rubber pieces, see the rubber, how it's all nice and solid. It's not all cracked. This is all one piece all together. See how that's all then if we flip this around on this side, you can see how that's not cracked. That's what you want. You know what I mean? You want a nice solid rubber piece. That other one was going bad. And I'm pretty sure if I did the test with this, you know, just... They should have a little bit of give, but not too much. And then they'll kind of set in place. But the other one, where's the other one? Let's see how much that one is. I'll grab the other one and see. Maybe this one might have more. Oh yeah. See how much I can move that with my hand? And I'm putting pressure on there versus this one. See that? That's bad. That's a bad engine mount. The bottom one was like way worse. Yeah, you can see all that cracking and stuff. Ugh. That's not good. I mean, it's worn. It's past its life. I mean, it's got life in there. You could definitely run it. Like, I'm not saying like you can't run it. Like it's a thing that you got to do right now. But you know, if you got kids or you're riding down the highway or something, you want a nice reliable vehicle, you're going to work or something, or you know, whatever situation you're in, you know, you don't want that to fall out. And then eventually if that breaks, you know what I mean? Which I've had them break on me. And if they break and you're going down the road, you could probably still drive your car, but in my situation, it sheared my axle off. It did a whole bunch of damage that, like, all I had to do was spend $60 and just do the normal maintenance. And then I wouldn't have had to spend a whole bunch of money on a whole bunch of other parts. So definitely keep up on your maintenance. You know, it'll help you in the long run. Okay, so we're gonna kind of just line these bolts are kind of like whatever. You can go up and down with the engine. The new one's a little different. You jack the engine up or put the engine down a little bit. You can kind of get it in the hole, right? Nice and slow with the jack. There it goes. Where are we at here? I'll try to get these. These are good guides here. Try to slide this in there. You can see how much the engine moves just a little bit. You know, you don't want that. Definitely don't want that. Just look at it. I think right there. Oh, be easier if this thing would have came out. I tried getting it out. I tried doing my thing. It was not doing its thing. So, in there. I'll try it. I'm going the wrong way, of course. Big cross. God damn it. Try this again. This is tight. I don't like how tight that is. Alright, now I kind of got it in the correct spot to get these bolts in there. They were kind of weird. But I'm just going to give it a little quick torque because I don't have my torque wrench with me. I know for sure. I know everybody in the comments, oh, you need to torque it down. Oh. Listen, okay? I am. Look, watch. Uno, dos, tres. There you go. That was my torque. I got to get my torque wrench. I'll go back this way. Can't break it loose, so that's good enough for now. It'll hold for now. Now the next one are these 3/15s. Oops. 15 millimeter. Oh, here it is. They're not sticking up in there, which means that we're fine. Just kidding. There it goes. The engine. Oh. I don't know if the engine is sagging that much, or it's really supposed to go up that much. Oh my. There it goes. All I did was just like let it down and come back through. I think these bolts are at an angle. There it goes. These are at an angle, so they were catching this. So you want to be careful, because right now what I'm doing is I have a piece of board on the, and then once these tighten down, this will actually just tighten the correct way on these. I have a piece of board supporting on the oil pan. When I was jacking it up, it started jacking the actual car up. And I don't know how much an oil pan is supposed to hold or rated to hold, so I don't really feel like buying this customer an oil pan. Oh, those are not the 15s, these are the 18s. So we'll go ahead and tighten those down. Some say you got to do it at a even pressure. You can just do the outsides, who cares, right? It's just a Ford, it's gonna break down in 2 days anyways, who cares? What time is it? Good. Okay. These weren't as torqued as the bottom ones, so just give it a good turn. Okay. Give it a little turn with the handy dandy. Alright, now that that's on, you can kind of pull on this engine. I used to pull on the engine and it used to move. Now that I pull on it, it's pretty firm, so I think that was a good job. Job well done. Hooray! 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 Uh-oh. Okay, good. I just put all the tools away. Awesome. And I took this little piece here off the engine and put that back on there. This is for your engine cover. It's pretty dumb. All right, that's the job. Job well done. Pretty easy. Just a quick overview. You need a 15 millimeter or 18 millimeter deep socket and a 15 millimeter. You can either use a deep well or a small well, it doesn't matter. Probably some extensions, a ratchet, an impact. I didn't remove anything except this came off of the front just to give me some leverage to get this up and out of there. And that was that, honestly. So yeah, if you guys consider subscribing, putting out more car content, a little bit of repairs, a little bit of stuff that I'm doing every day, every other day, every week, every month, every year. Appreciate you guys. But again, this was a 2017 Ford Escape Titanium 2.0 motor. Pretty sure that the other engine's the 1.8 or 1.6. They're probably pretty similar in terms of things. You might have to move some stuff around, but the engine mounts right here, just a couple bolts. And yeah, then the bottom one was a lot harder. And then I think we're gonna be working on doing under the engine, the air box. Under here, there's another transmission mount. We're gonna be doing that one. Because if those two need replaced, then this one's gonna need replaced too, so. Alrighty guys, peace out. Make sure you subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. So we're back at the headquarters. So essentially what was going on with that was that there was a whole engine replacement, and then after the engine replacement, you know, they're at low RPMs under a big load. It was actually just very bad vibration at low RPMs. So I kind of just thought, well, how many miles are on it? We buy a brand new. Okay, so no work was previously done to it. So I was figuring it's the engine mount. So I got under the car, did the whole thing like I said, and we rolled out that the engine mounts were bad. So we were looking for new engine mounts, and we got new engine mounts, and then we got the one in the bottom, and that completely just reduced it a lot. But what I noticed on a road test was that it was still doing it, but not nearly as bad. The first sound, it sounded like something was rubbing against, it was almost like metal on metal, like it was hitting on something metal, like shaking the whole car. Once we replaced that bottom one, it was still there, but it wasn't like a metal on metal type vibration. It was more of like a worn out bushing type vibration. So I was like, okay, well, if one of those is bad, then the rest of them are bad too. So we went ahead and did that one because we got that in a kit. And then we did that. I took it down the road 5 minutes, came back up the road under heavy loads. There was no issues. So I would call that a job well done. And like I said, that was on a 2017 Ford Escape 2.0. I'm pretty sure that the other engines are kind of the same, but normally everything should be in your user manual. You should be able to Google it if you know you're trying to find a reference. So, but yeah, that's about it, boys and girls. If you're trying to do this on your own, save a couple $100. I mean, that engine mount only took me about 30 minutes to do. 40, about I'd say 40 minutes. It wasn't really that bad. So, and I only used the impact for one of the bolts. So there's 5 bolts, and I could only do the impact on the 5. So even with a ratchet, it only took me 40 minutes just to do. So there you go. And around where I'm at, 40 minutes would save me about $80. It's really not that much. And if I had to charge someone to do that, I would only charge them maybe like 30. But for this job, I'm not charging at all because I'm not making any money right now. So, you know, I like to donate my time, help people out that need it. So, but yeah, peace out, guys. Thanks for coming to the channel. Make sure you subscribe.